Kara whiwhi atu. Over to you, Jess.
Thanks, Melissa. No mai, haere mai, kia ora everyone. Welcome to the last Leaders Debate. It's National versus Labour, Chris versus Chris. It all comes down to this. Just 2 days out from the election, this is a final fight for your vote. Good evening and thanks for joining us. The leaders of our main political parties are standing by, ready to go head to head. Labour's Chris Hipkins and National's Christopher Luxon are in the House. One of them will wake up as the Prime Minister on Sunday morning. On the menu tonight, the dreaded C word, coalition. What are they willing to compromise on to strike a deal? Plus, we want some positivity, so we'll be asking each of the leaders what they'll do to transform New Zealand to make it a better and fairer place for all of us. Not only do we have a live studio audience watching how the leaders go in tonight's debate, we'll also be off to the pub. That's where a group of undecided voters are hanging out, and they'll be rating what our candidates have to say. Stay tuned after the debate. Jack Tame will be joined by an expert panel for their analysis. And don't forget, we have sign language interpreters on hand. Head over to Freeview Channel 200 to see them. Let's get straight into it with a question from our latest One News Varian poll. And it goes to the heart of what people want to know. Who do you trust more? 43% say Chris Hipkins, while only 33% trust Christopher Luxon more, and almost a quarter didn't want to back either. So, Christopher Luxon, I'll start off with you. 33% of people trust you more. Is that an upsetting number for you?
Well, look, New Zealanders know that I've got real-world leadership experience, that I've come to this job over the last 2.5 years because I actually believe in New Zealand.
Chris Hipkins, 43% of people trust you. What do you make of that figure? That's not even half.
You don't earn people's trust just with a whole lot of slogans with no substance behind them. You earn people's trust by getting out there, being upfront and honest with them every day. I know that they trust him.
So is that going to be your pitch to voters tonight, that I might not be perfect, but I'm doing okay? Is that what we're going to hear?
Yes, by how much money they spend, right? In my world that I've come from and every other part of society, you measure success by what you achieve and the outcomes you deliver. We will do different things with that money. We will manage it there in 2017. Yep.
All right, well, that seems like an elegant place to leave it. Coming up, next we're talking money. We all know we're in tough times. So how do these leaders plan to get our economy thriving again? Welcome back to the final Leaders Debate. We're going to keep it simple. To be able to pay for all the things we want and need, like more doctors, more classrooms and better transport, the economy needs to grow faster. So my first question to both of you, and I'll start with you, Chris Hipkins, is what is your plan to grow the economy?
I've set out a plan to make New Zealand the cleanest, greenest, most sustainable food producer in the world, for us to be a world leader in renewable energy and for us to really unleash the potential. Increases to teach
Chris Hipkins, have you thought about
Chris Luxon,
yeah. I was doing so well.
You were doing really well.
I was doing really well. Chris Luxon, have you thought about a space minister? Start off with you, Chris Hipkins. Fees free for tertiary students, yes or no?
Yes.
Despite Labour's misinformation, yes.
Voting age at 16. All right. Poverty's on the agenda next. So how will the leaders close the growing gap between those who are thriving and those who are only just surviving? That conversation next.
On election night, you want up-to-the-minute coverage.
In-depth analysis of what it all means for you.
With our reporters right across the country.
Join the One News team for election night, Saturday from 7, live on One and TVNZ+.
There's always more to know. One News.
Welcome back. We're going to have a question now from a woman who understands firsthand the struggle of the cost of living. Agnes is a solo mum. She has a criminal history and she says that made it virtually impossible for her to get a job. She's now an advocate for beneficiaries.
Kia ora, talofa lava. My name is Something About It Now.
Now, Agnes is here in the audience, so both of the leaders will be able to respond to her. Thank you so much for your time and for being with us today. Chris Hipkins, I want to start with you. What do you say to Agnes? Can she trust you to do something about it?
Well, kia ora, Agnes, and thank you.
Let me pick up on that point, though, first. You do want to make some changes. Advisory group after advisory group have said that it's fairer to link benefits to wages. You don't want to do that. You want to effectively cut $500 million a year, $2 billion over 4 years. Isn't that taking money away from beneficiaries?
No, we're going to increase benefits in the 1990s. For goodness sake.
I want to do some quick fire questions now. And I'll start off with you.
Cutting benefits.
I do need you guys for this debate. I need to be able to ask you questions.
$180 a week.
You want to give landlords
State House wait lists.
Will you guarantee?
Let things go a bit with the quick fire round there, so we'll have to wrap it up there. But talking about pipes and roads may not sound exciting, but we do have news for you. Stick around and see why infrastructure matters, especially when it comes to who pays for it. Welcome back. Right now, right in the middle of Auckland, there's a giant 13-metre sinkhole. These events have raised concerns and inevitably questions, like this one.
My name's Andrew Jeffs. I'm a professor.
So Chris Luxon, I'll put that question to you. It's not a particularly sexy topic.
No, but it's an important one.
So what are you going to do about our ageing pipes?
Well, we have an infrastructure deficit in New Zealand in a number of areas.
And what you said before is not true. I've read your fiscal plan. There's nothing in there for water infrastructure.
What's your response to that?
We have...
all right.
That's
exactly
why we established the...
I'll just keep going.
It's not working?
This election campaign has been one of the most... I do have to move on now, Mr. Hipkins. It's been one of the most divisive we've had in a while. After the break, find out how the leaders hope to bring us together again.
This Sunday on Q&A, the results will be in. We'll be live with the winners and losers from this year's election. What will it all mean for you? Join us for a 2-hour Q&A special, Sunday at 8 a.m. on One and TVNZ+.
Thanks for being with us. Going back to trust and leadership now, this campaign has felt the most unsafe of any that I've covered. Christopher Luxon, I want to come to you first on this one. Do you have a responsibility to call out racism when and if you see it, as well as dog whistling?
Yeah, get our country back on track.
And that's the end of our debate. I'd like to thank Chris Luxon and Chris Hipkins for being with us. It's set to be a big weekend for everyone. Make sure you're back here on Saturday for our election special. I'll be joined by John Campbell and by Jack Tame, bringing you all the latest results as they roll in. We'd love to see you from 7 o'clock. So it's now up to voters to have their say. Have the leaders done enough tonight to sway you? Here to help answer that is Jack Tame.
Kia ora, Jess. That's right, I have an expert panel of political insiders with me tonight to rate how the two Chris's went. Plus, we're off to the pub to hear from some undecided voters. Here they are. What did they make of this evening's debate? We'll hear from them right after the break. Stay with us. Kia ora, welcome back to our post-match analysis of the final leaders debate. Joining me to discuss it all is former Deputy National Party leader Paula Bennett, Deputy Political Editor Mikey Sherman, and former Labour leader David Cunliffe. Kia ora koutou, great to be with you. Let's start off with your top line takes. First impressions, Paula, what did you think?
I actually really quite enjoyed it. I think it's one of the best debates we've seen.
What did you think, David?
Well, there's no sports analogies tonight, but if it was music, there were a lot of bass notes and not a lot of treble. Chris Hipkins.
We're going to reflect on a couple of the highlights from the debate in a few minutes, but a group of undecided voters has been watching the debate at the pub tonight. We wanted to get a sense of what they think of it all. Garth Bray is with them. Kia ora, Garth.
Kia ora, Jack. Here, look, over here at the pub at the watch party, I've got to tell you that some of the lines didn't land so well. Nobody picked up what Chris Luxon was putting down about Taylor of them.
That is very interesting in the context of this campaign, Garth. You know, we look at the early voting numbers compared to Ruth Richardson is.
Look, I think some of them have started to make those decisions. Some of them have got a pretty clear...
They're not sure yet that National's got the aspiration.
OK, we will have plenty more with our panel after the break. Hey, aku nei koutou, stay with us. Oki maiti, we welcome back. I'm here with our expert political insiders rating how Chris Hipkins and Christopher Luxon performed in the final leaders debate. And I want to look at another highlight from tonight's debate. A big talking point was the cost of living, and a question from Jessica Mutch-McKay provided some interesting responses from the leaders. Have a listen.
How much do you spend a week on food?
Need to have a big think.
Thank you so much for your time and insights tonight. We are out of time. Ko mutu, that is all the time we have this evening. Thank you so much to our panel this evening, Paula Bennett, Mikey Sherman and David Cunliffe. You can catch any moments you missed from tonight's debate on TVNZ+. I'll be back here with John Campbell and Jessica Mutch-McKay with an election special from 7 p.m. on Saturday night. Don't forget to vote before then. From the team, Paul Marty here. Good night.